Welcome to this lesson on OpenAI Platform Billing. When our C# application uses the OpenAI API, it sends requests and receives AI responses. This API usage consumes tokens, and those tokens can affect the cost. So, understanding billing helps us monitor usage and control our API costs. ChatGPT and the OpenAI API are two different ways of using AI. ChatGPT is designed for people to interact with AI directly. The OpenAI API is designed for software applications. For example, our C# application can send requests to the API and receive AI-generated responses. The API usage is then recorded for billing and monitoring. A ChatGPT subscription and OpenAI API usage are billed separately. Paying for ChatGPT does not automatically include API usage. When our C# application uses the OpenAI API, that usage is recorded separately. So, always remember, ChatGPT billing and API billing are different. Here's how API billing works. First, our C# application sends a request to the OpenAI API. The AI model processes the input and generates a response. Both the information we send and the response we receive can use tokens. The platform records this token usage. The final cost depends on the model we use and the number of tokens processed. This allows us to monitor our usage and understand how our application is consuming the API. Several things determine the cost of an API request. First is the AI model we choose. Different models can have different prices. Next are the input tokens. These are the tokens created from the information we send to the model. Then we have output tokens. These are the tokens generated in the model's response. So in general, more input and a longer response mean more token usage, which can increase the overall API cost. Input tokens are the information we send to the AI model. This can include our prompt, previous conversation history, system instructions, uploaded text, and tool definitions. Before the model processes this information, it is converted into tokens. So the more information we send to the model, the more input tokens the API may need to process. And those input tokens contribute to the overall API usage and cost. Here is a simple input token example. Suppose we send the prompt, "Explain machine learning for beginners." Before the AI processes this sentence, the text is passed through a tokenizer. The tokenizer breaks the text into smaller units called tokens. These tokens are then sent to the AI model for processing. So the basic flow is, text becomes tokens, and the tokens are processed by the AI model. Now, let's look at output tokens. After the AI processes our prompt, it begins generating the response. The generated response is also made up of tokens. A short answer uses fewer output tokens, while a detailed answer usually uses more. So, in simple terms, the longer the AI response, the more output tokens are generated. And these output tokens also contribute to our API usage and cost.
Now let's put input and output tokens together. First, our application sends information to the AI model. This information becomes input tokens. The AI processes those tokens and generates a response. That response becomes output tokens. So every API request can involve both input tokens and output tokens, and both can contribute to the total API usage and cost. Here is a simple API usage example. Suppose our C# application sends the prompt, "Explain binary numbers." The prompt is converted into input tokens and sent to the AI model. The model then generates an answer using output tokens. The API records both the input and output tokens. Together, they represent the total token usage for that request. This usage is then used to help calculate the API cost. After signing in to the OpenAI platform, we can open the billing area. Here, we can manage our billing information and review our API usage. We can also access areas such as payment methods, usage, and projects. The exact dashboard may change over time, but these tools help us understand and manage our API costs. To use paid API services, we need to configure billing on our OpenAI platform account. This normally includes adding a valid payment method or setting up the required billing options. Once billing is configured, our application can use paid API resources. We can then monitor our usage and costs through the OpenAI platform. To use paid API services, we first need to configure a payment method. In the billing area, we can add the available payment details for our account. Once the payment method is successfully configured, it becomes part of our API billing setup. Then, as our C# application uses the API, the platform can record the usage and calculate the associated costs. The usage dashboard helps us monitor how our application is using the OpenAI API. Here, we can review information such as token usage, model usage, project activity, and costs. For example, we can see how much API usage each project is generating over time. This makes it easier to track spending, understand usage patterns, and identify unexpected activity while developing our C# application. During development, we may test our C# application many times. Each test can send a new request to the OpenAI API, and every request can consume input and output tokens. So as we continue testing, our API usage gradually increases. This is why it's important to check the usage dashboard regularly, especially while developing and testing our application. Projects help us organize different applications inside the OpenAI platform. For example, we might have an AI study assistant, a document summarizer, and a customer support bot. Each application can be organized into its own project. This makes it easier to track API usage and manage resources separately for each application.